Michael J. with the opinion today. Well, in Trump world, in America, because now America is Trump world, nothing but chaos. Nothing but chaos. Did a video yesterday explaining that the Trump leader has no policy, has no plan. Even the concepts he speaks of, he do not know what he speak of. It's a tough one to wrap your head around there, folks, but that is the fact of the matter. Now, here's the other thing that's happening, and this has been brought to your attention by many people. The back room, it's not really back room, it's coming out on Twitter. Musk, Vivek, and the loomers of Trump world, the loomers, and the, who's that other guy? Guy has a banner. Banning the banner. Yikes. Did I say banning the banner? You got a lot of radicals in that friggin' department there, kids. And it's just not going to get any better. So, let's look at a couple different things. We're just going to look at the organized crime. It's really just organized crime. You just got organized crime and radicals in the form of, white supremacy, neo-fascism, instead of just fascism, and nationalism. So you got patriotism, being a patriot, nationalism, and it's really just a matter of building walls. Am I doing the accordion okay? And then we can do the swerve. What the frig is a swerve? Like, this is the dumbest thing, and you just tolerate this stuff. You hold everybody to the highest standard. And this guy, Trump, you just give a pass for everything. The guy's organized crime. Simple as that. Organized crime has been in government since day one. And then you're going to say, well, the Republic's over 200 years of age. I told you, you've had organized crime in government since day one. Now, you may not remember, this is before your time, there was a thing called the Empire Loyalists. They predated the conservatives. They predated the Republicans. So, the Empire Loyalists, and there's a relationship with Canada that goes back to day one. And if you want to look at where George Washington came from, House of Carlisle. Damn. Where's Virginia? House of Carlisle. And then in the UK, they've got a House of Carlisle. And then one of the great robber barons that helped support the, was it William the Orange? The Conqueror. Back in, 1049, 1067 AD, thereabouts. So the Carlisle family was a big supporter of the robber baron, the king at that time, the king-to-be. They created the framework for all that exists now, and it was especially pronounced under not the Renaissance period of Italy, but Rule Britannia. Excuse me, nearly choked on that one. Rule Britannica under Queen Victoria. You should be choking on that one too. Because even though the population has increased by so many fold, these tentacles of that of which was, still kind of is. They're slowly dying off, but it takes time. It takes time. So, there's your history lesson. And I did not need a degree from Harvard, nor Yale, nor Columbia, nor anywhere else in order to be able to do this. So now, we're to come to these assumptions. Let's call them assumptions. You can research them, and you're going to find there's truth behind everything I stated. Now let's go to the main screen, because I like the main screen. And we've got this CNN did a makeover. All these cable entities of news did a makeover. Fox really hasn't changed. They just continued with their hardline bullshit from day one. They took a hit where they had to make a big payout because their overlord Murdoch, who's got his own family troubles now that he's dealing with. Oh, you gotta love that. The old family establishments. Do you understand? No, you probably do not. You've never seen that. The barons of the world. Don't hear about them. So anyways, we're going to see, what's her name? Miss Collins. Nice lady, doing her job, trying to do her best. And so, let's look at this. Let's look at this.
Elon Musk is now going after the hardliners, the very heart of the MAGA base, labeling them just a few hours ago as, quote, contemptible fools who must be removed from the Republican Party root and stem. Musk now finds himself pitted against the likes of Steve Bannon, however. Trump's former...
Mr. Steve Bannon, another friggin' radical friggin'. So here you've got so many people just fighting because they've got this attention seeker that just wants to look good in the name of Trump, fighting for his time, and they all know that the last person that gets a hold of them that brings something that seems to resonate with the Donald, the orange banner, if it resonates with Donald, it could become a reality. And so whoever's last in line that resonates best, going to get a shot at turning the wheel. And you've been in the wheel of government's been taken over by, always was organized crime, but now you got a crime boss. You got an organized crime leader. President-elect. He was the 45th president. Looking to be the 47th. I don't know why nobody's investigating him now for treason. You know, the whole time he's in Mar-A-Lago over the past couple of years, he's had a direct line to Putin. He's even had his buddy Elon Musk, who invested $250 million. And this here's got to be a certain amount of overextension of the rules of participation. A horse trading with Putin. On the side, now they're in a position of authority. They still have no plan. There is no plan. Because there was no policy, there is no plan, just concepts. And the concepts were non-existent. But they do have one thing. They've got a whole cast of characters that coordinated and put together this massive book. I think it might be up to 900 pages. Called Project 2025. They're going to ram down your throat. Simple as that. They're going to ram as much as they can down your throat to keep you off your feet while they're fighting amongst themselves to who can get the most for themselves. It's really just who can get the most for themselves. Nothing to do with the people. People are just sheep and puppets to be played with, an income source that provides these people that are going to be your president et al. Cometh the 20th of January 2025. Unless, of course, you finally actually investigate him, where, it's going to take, how do you get around the Supreme Court? The Supreme Court has done an immunity clause. Can't really get around that. They've overextended in the immunity. They overextended how they made a decision in the, what was it, the Oklahoma case? As far as insurrection. So now the only one that can save the country, because he has the power, and the only problem with that is everybody's going to be worried about the backlash. But the only one that can save your country right now, before January 6th and January 20th, is a guy by the name of Joseph Biden. They call him Sleepy Joe, but Sleepy Joe is going to go down in history as probably one of the best presidents of the United States of America in modern time. Absolutely. Without a doubt. Irrevocably. We stand by Sleepy Joe. I stand by Sleepy Joe. Guy knows policy. Not going to win a beauty contest, but he knows policy. So here we go.
Former White House aide who came out against Musk's push for H-1B visas, which allow highly skilled foreign workers into the U.S. and has long been the lifeblood of Silicon Valley.
H-1B visas, that's not what it's about.
Crap.
It's about taking American jobs and bringing over essentially become indentured servants at lower wages. This thing's a scam.
Here's a guy that wants to friggin' blow up China. Wants to blow up Mexico. He's probably the guy behind taking over the Panama Canal. I'm not so sure. Who knows? He's got nearer the president. His MO would be a take over the Panama Canal, take over Canada, fresh water. Despite the fact that you have some great scientists and you could do desalination technology, but that's beyond the comprehension of these guys. They want to just friggin' get their ego stroked, get the big club out and just bash people. My way or the highway. And the question you got to ask, are you a human being or an animal? There is a big difference, and we seem to have lost the way things work and understand on a scale of sentient beings. The human being supposed to be at the top is acting like the dumbest friggin' animal at the bottom. And that's just the way it is. This is what we see. Doesn't matter how rich you are. That's no indication of the type of person you are. It's got nothing to do with compassion, benevolence, sentience, servitude to one another to help each other, to live in harmony, a life of happiness. But no, it's just pain and suffering. What can I get for myself by forcing myself on others? That's a really not a very harmonious way to exist. And you'd be remiss if you did not read a book by, David R. Hawkins, Harvard, you guys like graduates, Harvard graduate. He did a book, Power versus Force. Pretty rudimentary by standards now, but there is no other standard to really measure against it, because look at what you've done here. But David R. Hawkins, Harvard professor, a book called Power versus Force. And I'll give you a bit of an overview of it. I've never read the book, but I'm going to give you an overview. The difference between power versus force. If the collective can agree to something, it will have merit and will last the test of time. If it's done by force, it'll only last as long as the next uprising, and people will revolt against it. Very simple process. So here we go. Steve Bannon, the guy that wants to have the big club. The biggest club in the room.
By the oligarchs in Silicon Valley to basically take jobs from American citizens, give them to what become indentured servants from foreign countries, and then pay them less.
Indenture servitude. Oh my good golly. And yet here they have in Texas 4 million people. Biden gives a directive, 4 million people to be included to be paid overtime. And the Republicans, with their proxies that have been set up in the states over the last 4 years, are doing their work, strip away the overtime pay for a Texas worker. 4 million people. Take away the ability to have overtime pay. Come on now. And you talk about looking out for the worker, Mr. Banner, Steve Banner.
Simple.
Steve
to
Bannon,
let him into
sorry.
through the golden door.
Now, Bannon's comments align him with people like the far-right activist Laura Loomer, who has been bashing Musk for days now on this and is even accusing him of censoring her on his own platform. She is the anti-immigrant Trump ally who is now claiming that her...
And here's the other thing, censoring. Now, the MAGAs are getting censored on X. Elon Musk, the hero, because he's the billionaire, multi-billionaire, the hero of the land. People look up to it. It'd be amazing how many people look up to this idiot. Pardon the expression. I just let that slip, but I do mean it. Don't kid yourself. So he takes over Twitter. He just takes a cudgel to the business. Says, oh, free speech. Brings a guy like Don Lemon in after Lemon gets fired from CNN. Has an interview with him. Doesn't like what Lemon's asking. All of a sudden, that interview and the relationship with Don Lemon on the new Twitter platform, now known as X, is severed. So Musk likes you if you like what he says. If you do not toe the line and agree with his way of thinking, you're censored. You are censored. He is no better than anything. They're actually even worse than what they tried to eliminate. There's Truth Social's an example of that. If you do not state the company line, which means neo-Nazism, far right-wing evangelical principles, if you sway from that, you'll just get friggin' censored. You won't even know about it. This is what's already happening with X, with the hardline MAGA guys, Elon Musk and his crew. This is what's happening.
Blue checkmark was removed. Her subscriptions were deactivated. Her character limits for tweets and posts on X were limited for what she says is, quote, raising concerns and speaking the truth about the technocratic takeover of our country and the White House. Now, that was...
Meanwhile, that crew did it. Now they're worried about the other crew within the crew. The other crew within the crew. Can you believe it? Fighting amongst one another. I'm just so friggin' admonished by the fact that these the American people consider themselves the smartest, leaders of democracy for all the world to follow. And they actually did a pretty good role in that respect to a certain degree. Are putting up with a shit show. And that's exactly what it is. It's an embarrassment. It's ripping your country apart because damage is done now. The damage is done.
After she posted racist messages like this, saying our country was built by white Europeans, actually,
Holy
not third
moly.
world invaders.
The white card race now. Yikes.
From India. More on what she is saying about why she lost those privileges on X in a moment with Donny O'Sullivan. But all of this began after Trump named Shriram Krishnan, a tech entrepreneur and investor who was born in India, as his senior policy advisor on artificial intelligence. He's not an immigration advisor for Trump, but this started this entire backlash. And it's culminated today with Elon Musk not backing off of his stance, despite the backlash that he is facing from the MAGA right. Instead, he's writing tonight, anyone of any race, creed, or nationality who came to America and worked like hell to contribute to this country.
Don't tell that to Thomas Holman. Thomas Holman just can't wait to get his ICE crowd. Meanwhile, when Trump was in power 2016 to 2020, under Holman with ICE, they're running around in unmarked vehicles, throwing people in these vehicles and turfing them out of the country any which way they could. This guy just wants to turf people out of the country. This white supremacist thing's it's a serious splinter. It's very serious. Now, we're not going to go back to Lara Loomer and the allegations of being censored by Twitter, aka X. But that's what's happening. They're starting to censor their own. They're going to censor everybody. Give them time. They'll censor everybody. Once they get their crap together, they'll censor everybody. And you're falling for it. Just sitting around trying to intellectualize how to deal with, oh, he's just joking. He won't do this, won't do that. Why don't somebody get some balls and do something and start taking care of business? Because these people are a threat to your country, to your people. Now let's look at another one here. We're going to move quickly.
Systems and shot the plane down. So far, Russian officials have denied those claims and suggested that Ukraine is to blame. This all comes as the Kremlin has rejected President-elect Trump's calls for an immediate ceasefire to end the war in Ukraine, and fears of a wider...
Yeah, so here's the deal. Putin et al., which is Russia and the oligarchs and whoever, it's basically everybody that's under the umbrella of Putin, they'll blame it on Ukraine. That's just their standard tact. They create the problem. They just deny. And they just continue with their merry-go-round, keeping you off track and believing this crap. So Putin. Now Ukraine, here's the other problem with Ukraine. You've got Trump that sat down with a girl from ABC, call her the green dress lady. He's going to back out of helping Ukraine. This has all been planned ahead of time. You just don't realize it. In that interview, he already said he's going to back out. He said for sure. He hemmed and hawed his usual way, but ended up even saying for sure. So now, that's just part of the plan with Putin. Putin's running the show. These guys want to control the world. That's just the way it is.
War have begun to resurface in the Middle East as Israel steps up attacks against the Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen. All of this potential chaos awaits Donald Trump when he enters the White House.
Waits Donald Trump. Trump's part of the problem. He's been in touch with Netanyahu. Just, Bibi, do whatever you got to do. Just keep blasting these people. You're going to get a false narrative from Trump. You're going to get a false narrative from Putin. It's by design, folks.
House next month, but he appears to want even more chaos in the form of territorial expansion. This week, Trump escalated his threats to retake control of the Panama Canal, and he doubled down on his...
And here's the real deal. Dictator from day one. He's already started before. He's laying the groundwork before he even gets in control. Panama Canal. Forget history. He's going to trash history. It's over 100 years of history. You had a 100-year lease. Lease expired. Your military has passage of rights through the Panama Canal still to this day after the expiry of 20 plus years ago, 2003 or thereabouts, in or about 2003 nonetheless, and then take ownership of Greenland, and then let's get the water from Canada. You forget the War of 1812 with Brock and the native people of Canada? Do you forget that War of 1812? Totally forgotten. So this is the ambitions of this guy Trump. He wants to start friggin' doing what Putin. He's under the thumb of Putin to begin with. Putin helped get him into friggin' the saddle second time around, first time around, and second time around.
Desire to take ownership of Greenland, as in Greenland. Joining me now is David Rothkopf, foreign policy expert who worked in the Clinton administration and now hosts the Deep State Radio podcast. David, it's great to have you on the program. Thank you for joining me in the middle of this holiday season. First of all, Donald Trump has made a lot of seemingly unhinged promises. We'll see what comes.
Seemingly unhinged? All this friggin' debate, seemingly this, seemingly that. The guy means it.
Of them, but the idea that he can end the war in Ukraine in his first 24 hours in office. First of all,
Furthermore, he said he could end it even before he got into office in 24 hours.
What do you make of that, and what do you make of it, especially in the light of this potential air attack on the Azerbaijan commercial aircraft?
Well, I think Trump is already getting a cold dose of reality. That there was never a possibility that he was going to end it in 24 hours. What he was doing when he said he was going to
cold dose of reality. You, sir, need a cold dose of reality. Trump knew that before he said it. You've all been played. You just don't get it. You've all been played. I'm not going to watch this any further because you've all been played. Now, this is the Bulwark. I like the Bulwark. I like Mega Touch, also known as the Midas Touch, because I think these people understand a little more of what's really going on here. Mainstream media is too much corporate influence. And that's the issue. So here we go. This is a tweet from Vivek Ramaswamy. Is that his name? I think it is. Vivek Ramaswamy.
Urkel over Steve Urkel.
Okay,
in Family Matters.
He's right about that. Stefan Urkel, but Stefan was kind of cool, man. He was like
smart.
a Slav. Yeah.
Okay. My kind of crowd. I like these guys. Whoopsie. Where am I going here? I want to get this.
It's Corey, Zach, and...
Okay. So Vivek and Elon Musk are dealing with the Lara Loomers and the Steve Bannons. So you got two camps now. The Steve Bannon, Lara Loomer, that crowd. And then you got Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk. Two different camps here.
Slater and Stefan will not produce the best engineers. And then he goes on, fact, I know multiple sets of immigrant parents who actively limited how much their kids could watch those TV shows precisely because they promoted mediocrity. That is insane. Those parents are insane, and those children can't speak. Those children are not a part of society, and I think that is going to hurt their rise. Do you think that Donald Trump's parents were preventing him from watching the Andy Griffith Show or whatever was fucking on TV in 1932? No,
but here's the distraction. And this you have to understand. Lara Loomer, Steve Bannon, Vivek, and Elon Musk. I'm going to say this once again. Before this election even started, and before you ended up with President-elect 47, Donald J. Trump, the Trump clan and Trump et al. had no policy, no plan, and really no concepts. They put the concept word up because that'll confuse you. They've been on the phone this all past summer, Elon Musk and Trump, and you got to really wonder what kind of state, what country secrets have been passed on to Putin over the course of the last 4 years. Why do you think he's holding on to those documents? You got to get the FBI to get highly sensitive documents out of the hands of Trump? You got to pry him out of his hands. And he gets away with this crap, and you allow that. January 6th. Never seen anything like it. That was absolutely vicious.
And he went, no. Okay? Like,
And anybody that thinks it was friendly and the police of the grounds there at the Congress acquiesced just to lovingly bring in these terrorists. No, they were worrying about their lives, and they did lose their lives. And a lot of them even committed suicide thereafter because they'd never seen anything like it. They never expected that something like that could happen in this modern time. Unbelievable. And you let it happen.
you're like, this is so out of the whole MAGA ethos. I wrote this, Sam. Could you imagine if Kamala had said this? Could you imagine if Kamala had been like,
We're going to move ahead. I'm going to cut this out soon. Let's get here.
Well, he gets it. Look, he said something to us that shows he gets it. And frankly, that's a bunch of bullshit because obviously, even if he says it to you, his people do not get it. And I will just note, like, online, some of these tweets, I mean, if you go into the Loomer stuff, like...
explain the Loomer fight just really quick.
So Loomer, if you don't know her, Laura Loomer is a wild conspiracist who has been around Trump world since the inception, basically. But she does, she's a professional troll. Like, she goes online and she just digs up stuff on people, trolls them, harasses them. She ran for Congress a couple times. She did not win. In the fall, she was pictured next to Trump at 9/11 at the memorial. People were like, what is she doing there? Like, this is bad. And so she was exiled. But she's basically, in the last couple of days, has done something that I would have thought totally inconceivable and remarkable. And I give her some credit for pulling it off, honestly, which is she went on Elon Musk's platform and turned the whole crowd against Elon Musk. And she basically was like, look, and I'll read from it, because she's opposed to this H-1B visa stuff that they're pushing. She says, the elephant in the room is that Elon Musk, who is not MAGA and never has been, is a total fucking drag on the Trump transition. Then she, of course, tags Donald Trump. Musk, is a stage 5 clinger who overstayed his welcome at Mar-a-Lago in an effort to become Trump's side piece. Jesus Christ. And be the point man for all of his accomplices in big tech to slither into Mar-a-Lago. It goes on and on. But she basically took the dagger, multiple daggers, and just was like...
But here's the thing. This proves what I'm saying. Now they've told a guy at Disney to go, over admin, but he won't tell Xi Jinping and Li Shuang to go, and he's perfectly happy to take their money to fund his Shanghai Gigafactory. Talking electric vehicles in China. So you better believe Elon Musk wants value for his $250+ million investment in the helping of making Trump the 47th president of the United States. That's really what's happened. You've got organized crime. You've got corporate terrorism, the Vivek Ramaswamy's, Elon Musk's, TikTok guys, the hedge fund guys, also the Bitcoin guys. You got to understand, Bitcoin's not made on anything. And they're going to create a thing that's going to be the biggest scam in the world. to take money from the average guy. You just don't see it coming, but it's coming. And Laura Loomer further states that he's completely compromised by the CCP. What about the former USSR and Putin? This is what you do not see. This is the stuff you do not see.
It goes on and on. But she basically like took the dagger, multiple daggers, and just was like shivving him. And Musk, apparently, I don't know any of this is true, and I'm not bothering to check because I'm not going to fact check Laura Loomer's conspiracies. I'll be here all day. But she says that she has now been, limited in her reach on Twitter, that she no longer has whatever the status is, a premium or whatever they call it,
Okay. So Laura Loomer was a big Trumper, says Musk has canceled all of my subscriptions and sent a message to all my subscribers saying Laura Loomer deactivated her subscriptions as a way to demonetize her. This is Elon Musk retaliating against me for speaking truth. Elon Musk is a free speech fraud. Yeah, no doubt about it. So, Laura Loomer, who creates subterfuge to the 9th degree, is pointing a finger at a free speech fraud, Elon Musk, and it's true. This is the problem with billionaires owning these corporate businesses that control media. As they control the flow of what is and what is not, based on what they want it to be. And this is a dangerous thing. You've let it happen. You've let it happen and acquiesced, folded your cards, and fell
Musk
into the
retaliated
crapper.
against her. He's kind of obliquely referenced her. He's like, don't feed the trolls.
And then here's the backlash at the risk there are many attentions. So I'm not going to go further into this anymore. Now, I'm going to go to the partner of Doge. Who's the partner of Doge? The Doge that has no Congress approval. Apparently he's got a big purpose in the running of this administration and the House of Representatives and the Congress. Holy crap. These guys are allowed to do whatever they want, yet they have no statutorial framework in order to incorporate anything they want. But they stopped Mike Johnson from putting a bipartisan bill through to fund the government. They're willing to non-fund the government. And I mentioned before, if you've got a car, you got to drive around, you need an engine to drive that car. So why would you stop funding the government and take the engine out of the government so nobody can get anything done? It makes no sense, but they do it. So now, Vivek Ramaswamy. Who is this guy? An American entrepreneur and politician. Okay, so here you go. Age 39 years, founded... Now here's where it gets interesting. Yeah, CO Gene Therapies, Roivant Sciences. And now here's another thing. Education. Harvard University, and then Yale Law School. So Harvard got his BA, and then Yale got his jurisprudence. So, supposed to be a smart guy. But yet, based on what we've seen, well, here's the thing I'm going to put at you. You can take Candace Owen and Vivek Ramaswamy, give them a question, how to fix America, and give them 60 minutes to come up with an answer. And after 60 minutes, the narrative will become more confusing, that you've lost sight of what the original question was, and nobody has an answer. That's the problem with a Vivek and a Candace Owens in a room. Just confusion. Create a friggin' circle of perpetuity of just friggin' argument. Never come up with an answer. That's brilliant, eh? Isn't that brilliant? Yikes. Vivek Ramaswamy. Okay, so how do he make his money? He's apparently a bona fide billionaire, right? Does it say that there? Or does it say it? It might say it here further up. I'm not going to go further up. But anyway, this is how the guy's made his money. He bought for $5 million, bought this the rights to this drug from GlaxoSmithKline. GlaxoSmith ran at least 3 or 4 trials. This drug was going nowhere. Going nowhere. So they sold it. They had a guy who had been working with the financial markets in the business, promoting these kind of businesses, pharmaceutical tech, science-based. So he gets for $5 million the rights to this drug. And then he gets people to rewrite papers stating that there is promise with this drug. Pumps it up, pumps it up, pumps it up. And that's all he did. Pump and dump, and that's how he became a billionaire. Just from pumping and dumping. Nothing that helps people. A lot of BS that gets the excitement up and gets people to dig into their pockets and help finance his foolish ventures. And then at the end he says, sorry, it had showed so much promise. Come on now. This guy can argue a black fly to the point that the argument's still going on, and the black fly just gives up life because its EOL, end of life expectancy, just came into play. This is all this guy can do. He's good at that. Whatchamacallit, Trump had, whatchamacallit, the girl that was married to George. Anyways, we won't go there right now. So anyways, here's another thing. Now, 2017, Ramaswamy struck a deal with Masayoshi-san, Son-san. And SoftBank invested $1.1 billion in Roivant. And so this is how Ramaswamy kept churning over a nondescript drug that was going nowhere to make money. And then SoftBank, here's SoftBank, Japanese holding company. And here's the other thing that you don't understand. Now, you got organized crime in the States. You got Russian organized crime that's in the States now. They control Trump. Got a big secret on Trump. I know what the secret is. But Trump's feeling his oats, and maybe he feels he can outmaneuver, but he can't. His whole playbook's coming from Putin. And then the SoftBank, Japan. Now, you've heard of the triads between Vietnamese, Japanese, Chinese. That's another form of organized crime. They're brutal as well. I've dealt with certain factions of that facet of organized crime. You know, they're brutal. Like, who wants to live these kind of lives when you can put the same amount of effort in and live a good, clean life that helps people? But these people make a choice to create pain and suffering. You can have a good, uplifting experience that makes a good life for everybody. Nobody left behind. But no, you got these people here. They want to do this. And here's a perfect example of that. 11 days ago, SoftBank will invest $100 billion in the U.S. And here's Trump.
SoftBank will be investing $100 billion
Take a look. West Palm Beach, Florida, December 16th, 2024.
in America, creating 100,000 American jobs at a minimum. And he's doing this because he feels very optimistic about our country since the election. And many other people are also coming in with tremendous amounts of money.
But it's all organized crime. They know they've got an advantage. And this has been Trump's MO prior to 2016. When Trump was flogging Panamanian condominiums. Back when Martinelli was running the show in Panama. You know, it got so bad that the perpetrators of the whole scam that created the Panama Papers, Paradise Papers, and the Pandora Box Papers, they got kicked out of Panama. And you know how corrupt Panama was. This guy, Martinelli, was his best friend. And here's the other thing. They were a conduit for laundering money through a guy by the name of David Guzman. And Preet Bharara knows all about David Guzman because he put David Guzman behind bars. This guy Trump was laundering money for the Colombian cartel as well. You know, arms. I'll get to some of that maybe later on and other meanderings. But here you go, Trump.
You probably noticed that a poll was just taken. Its business is literally in 39 years, there's been nothing like it. It's been the biggest increase. Small business owners gave it a 41% jump. It's the biggest jump that we've had in 39 years.
This is going to be the biggest organized crime takeover of the financial system of the world. Manipulation for the benefit of the few. The 1% and the 10% are going to be the major benefactors of what happens. And that's just the way it is, kids. That's just the way it is. So now, I'm going to sign off. It's December 28th. Here's the deal. You got an organized crime boss, Donald J. Trump, president-elect, has no policy, has no plan, and even the concepts that he spoke highly of were very, very weak. I've shown you an example of what's going on, the inner fighting for control. It's all about money. Money for the top 1%, the top 10%. The people suffer. They bought into this crap of this guy thinking this guy is a businessman. No, he's just been used by organized crime as a figurehead to help promote their illegal operations. He's profited by it for decades and decades and decades. And that's just the bottom line. Putin and the Russian oligarchs laundered money so that they could become what they became. This guy Trump benefited by it. Colombian cartel money also. And here's the other thing. Putin ripped off IMF money, money from the United States of America to disarm Ukraine of nukes and stuff like that. You guys don't even know half of what went on. All your great intelligence and, hey, what can I say? I'm not going to say any more. I've said enough. So, here's the deal, folks. Stay safe. Love and peace to everyone. And remember, kindness starts from within. So start by being kind to yourself, your family, your neighbor, your community, and the rest will just mushroom out from there. Try not to get caught up in all this nonsense going on, but you need to take action. because the intention has to be for the good of all people, including yourself, and it requires action. Doesn't need to be violent, just logical, balanced, using thought and reason. So love and peace to everyone. Talk to you all soon. Take care. Be safe. Ciao for now.